The executive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Nigeria, Ola Olukoyede, during the ceremony of Jerry Eze Business Foundation grant, said that he investigated Pastor Jerry Eze, the founder and lead pastor of Streams of Joy International, but discovered that he's an exemplary and trustworthy pastor that the EFCC identifies with. He commends his commitment towards holding the banner of righteousness and being a huge blessing to humanity, and taking youths who may be susceptible to crime off the streets.
Thank you, Mr. MC. I'm used to people not applauding me. So, I saw reason when you encouraged them to clap for me after you introduced Her Excellency. Because a lot of people would have thought that I came here to collect your BVN. It's not true. I came here to celebrate my friend and my brother and his wife. Pastor Jerry, what you are doing today is no mean feat. You are actually making a statement. I congratulate the recipients, the people you are supporting today, that the leaders of this country tomorrow. They are agents of change. And that is how you make your own statement. And I thank God for your life and the life of your wife. Nigerians, we need to come to a point in our life where we should say enough is enough. You know, when I see gathering of people like this and something runs across my mind, what I see in my investigation file every day. A lot of people use the opportunity of position to abuse the government. Every opportunity. Even some of our Christian leaders from the pulpit, from the podium. You have chosen to make a statement to the government, to the private sector, to individual private citizens. That's not just by abuse. It's by doing something to speak truth. This is the best way to speak truth to government. It's the best way. And I tell you why. Now, for whatever you abuse Mr. President for, we have abused the one before him. We abused the one before him. Now, when they leave office, we now regret. We want to bring them back. The same people we have used our mouth to abuse. And these people come from the society. So, shouldn't we blame ourselves as Nigerians? We produce them. What we need to begin to do is, by virtue of the work you do, speak truth to them. When Pastor Jerry, this is not a matter of church. You are not doing this because you have a large church. You are doing this because you have a good heart. It's not about your church. It's not. So it's not about stream of joy. So it's a product of it's what comes out of your heart. You are a righteous man. Now I'm going to embarrass you today. I never wanted to say it, but I just felt that's my little way of making this contribution. I investigated this man for 6 months. Yeah. For money laundering. We work by intelligence, we work by petitions. At some point, I saw there was an account, a domiciliary account. Dollars, pounds were dropping in like raindrops, from Colombia, from America, from Sri Lanka, even from Togo. I said, who is this man? Yes, I've been hearing about his name, I've seen his face a couple of times. I never bothered about what he was doing. I knew he's a pastor. So they said it's one Pastor Jerry Eze of Streams of Joy. Go and investigate him. So we went into the investigation. We combed the books. Yes, we saw the money coming in. So my IO, my investigating officer, came to me one day and said, sir, this is the preliminary report. I said, I'd like to see this man. go and invite him. So he came to my office. I saw him. I've seen that face, I know. But I didn't know it was him because I saw somebody who came in with baggy trousers and, it's a small, t-shirt and some punk and, with pattern. And I was almost going to say, go and call your pastor, my friend. You are not the one. Go and bring your bishop. So upon a second look, I look at the face. I said, okay, you are Pastor Jerry. He said, yes, sir. I said, go sit beside me. So he told me what happens and all of that, and how the money came, what he does, how he has been helping people and all of that. I said, you know what? I didn't call you here to explain to me. We have already done our work. I called you here to commend you. If you want to stand up and have applause, do that. Thank you very much. Please take your seat. Take your seat. And I said, look, by virtue of my mandate, people identify us at the work we do with criminals, with suspects and all of that. I also have preventive, mandate. Efcc should also be identified with righteous people who have integrity. We must drum them up. We must drum them up. And you are one of them. The only thing that is remaining now is to give you a letter of validation, but I'm not going to give you because I will still continue to monitor your finances. Just yesterday I was addressing the committee of pro-chancellors of universities. And I made a statement that eventually the media took out of context this morning. And I said, look, I was trying to draw an analogy of our young Nigerians, the people we are expecting to hold a bastion for tomorrow. And I share an example of what I've seen in the course of my investigation. I didn't call 6 out of 10 students criminals. No, I wouldn't have done that. I said, for the intel we got, the people we invited, students we invited, and for every 10 we investigated, we discovered that 6 were found culpable. The record is there. And I thought about it then. I said, if I keep railroading these guys to jail, how would that help my work? And I sat down. And I said, look, we needed to do something. I approached Mr. President, and we agreed on 2 things. Sir, you have passed net fund law. There is no money for net fund to take off. I have a crop of hundreds of students who are into cybercrime. And when I did my research, I discovered why they did that. Because a lot of them could not afford to train themselves in school. Legitimate reasons. Being applied to illegitimate, way out. So I said, sir, I have some money in my recovery account. Why can't you take part of this, about 100 billion, invest it in net fund? And that was how net fund took off. 50 billion for net fund, 50 billion for credit corporation. Now today, net fund has done 1.3 million students paid their school fees over the past 1 year. That's how to fight corruption and how to make things work. Sir, you have taken 240 people out of my dockets of people that have potentials to commit financial crime. You have taken 240 out. So you have reduced my work. You have helped me in your own little way. And that is how we must help ourselves as Nigerians. We must be one another's keeper. So it's not only creating jobs for them. You have helped my mandate. And that's why I had to abandon every other thing I needed to do in the office and identify with you here because you are a good man.